My name is Charles Feldman. I moved to Bristol in 1940. My oldest brother and I farmed the farm, took care of the cattle, cow, we had one cow, pigs, and then during the war, Dad and Grandpa and Uncle Don, they butchered about every week and sold the meat to Elkhart residents that couldn't get meat back then. And I started in tool and die and Mark Sills there in Bristol. And then I just went from there to different outfits in the tool and die shop. Bud Hermance and half of the town would make up all the different fireworks. And when I got into it, he had retired, and so I turned around and they asked me if I'd take over. I hunted up. Frank Perry was Princess Fireworks in Mishawaka, and most of the people he knew, which were out of New York and different places, and what they would do is they'd come and they'd help set up all the different displays that we'd use, and it just turned into I didn't get out of it then until, well, I'm still in it. This year it was 54 years that my son and I, because when he was 13, I had him right by me.
I'm Tom Feldman. I'm Chuck's oldest son, and I've been involved. Our family has been involved in the Bristol fireworks since 1971.
He took an interest in it. Helen just had to live with it. Oh, well, Frank had all his, I think you might say his relation, because they're all from the same Italy, and they all seem to be in the fireworks displays or played with fireworks, because they would come. They shot in New York a week before Bristol shot their show, so Frank would have them come, and that's where I learned how to hand fire, how to keep from getting hurt, and the whole 9 yards. Them guys were. One guy would say, well, that one didn't go out of the tube. And they'd just skip it for one round. And the second round, they'd throw another one in the same damn tube. And let me tell you, that made people happy, because it would be poop, poop, and there'd be two of them up in the air and burst. And they did things that today they'd have a fit if you did it, but my theory is that's how you keep safety, because if you had it in that tube, you don't know if it's still sizzling, and you can get burned bad. When you hand fire, you have to have a man in the box. I made a big box, made that with 3s and 4s and 5s and 6 different size fireworks. You have a man load. That's number one man, and that's all he does is just load the tubes after you shoot. So you got him there, and then I would light them, and everybody else would be just damn careful to watch. And like I said, the fuses were real good back then, but in the last, I'm going to say 15 years, they've speeded the fuses up. And one guy said, what do you mean? It went 1,000 feet a second. You lay a fuse in your hand, it burns so fast that it doesn't even put a mark, and you don't feel no heat with the fuse when you light it. And when you light it and you see a spark, it's already 4 feet in the air. So you don't have a chance to get away from it. And I had that happen. back in 53, I think it's 53, we had quite a few accidents that come out of the tube and go sideways, so while you're up there lighting the next one, it would catch you. I thought it was exciting because then I got the chance to see how everything works. I think that's the biggest thing.
Looking back
You want
now,
to learn it right.
watching fireworks
Every
evolve,
year, when
they
they
had so
do
many
work for
different
Melrose,
neat things. Frames,
they
they
would
call them, set
have
pieces
a
that were
Saturday prior
more
to
ground
the
driven
4th of July. I'm
than
saying
anything.
they bring in
It was just
pros, as I called them.
I thought,
They
a
knew
great
what they were
aspect of
doing.
fireworks. They've done away with a lot of that today. It's more aerial.
Because fire marshal sets up the show, and that's what people don't realize. They light them, but they don't realize that when we light them, you have to get the permission from the fire marshal, the state fire marshal, and he got a picture of exactly where every house is located and everything, where you are located, and that's where you're supposed to shoot. You don't shoot no other place except where he's got it indicated. You don't have a choice. If you're caught and you would burn somebody or burn a building, you're liable. 12-inch shells, the biggest one. They're so expensive now nobody wants to use them, but they go 1,200 feet in the air and cover a 6-block area. Just literally the whole area will be lit up like a Christmas tree. And it's amazing how powerful they are, because when I lit that one in Bristol, I put it on the other side of a 4-foot, the tree was about 4 feet in diameter. And when it went off, I'm lighting it on one side. And when it went off, you could hear the trees crumble, crack, and snap. And they're so damn expensive today. They don't even use them, but I think there's something like $300 or $400 a shot. And people don't realize, they say they'd like to see them. Well, the people who gather the money and say they want a show can't quite cut the price tag of a 12-inch shell. It's powerful, because when you got fuses that burn 12 feet a second, or 1,000 feet a second, when you see a spark, it's already out of the tube by 4 feet. It's up in your face. In 1985, they said, I let Tom take over, and all I did is made damn sure everybody paid attention. I can get nasty. I guess that's the best way to put it, because it's you can't be reckless. That's one thing about fireworks. You can't be reckless, and I know the distance that they have set up for different fireworks, but 4-inch would be a good example. You need 280 feet completely around that where I'm shooting. You have to have that clearance. That's why we always had a circle on our program. They give us our program, and a lot of people don't realize that shoot in towns, it's dangerous. One of these days, they're going to find out how dangerous it is, and that can hurt, because somebody can get burned bad. Well,
We started out in Condon Park, then we went to Hermance Park, and from Hermance Park we went to off of Earthway Drive right up against Thwaites' cornfield for 1 year. Then the year the bridge was closed, I got to go back to Condon Park.
Condon's Park, that's where I started, was Condon's Park. Everybody else had shot, and that's how so many of the guys that came from Pennsylvania and New York and in that area, they liked it, because then we had a party. We had a whole day of just a lot of fun because you send them up, and we had like you put up a one over here and 200 feet away. You put a rope, string, wire, and then you got, and that's a bee, and it'll make the sound of a bee, and then it hits the target over here like a half a block away. You can see it explode, and we put some on just, I forget what we call them, but they make the ground make a real thud when they hit when you light them. Yeah, that's
Yeah, the bridge actually, the bridge was
had it
very intense because
2 years.
the waterfall is on rope. It's just
Of course, we
basically
had to close the
fireworks
bridge while we did it.
tied to a
We had
rope,
people
fused.
go down to
I
it.
can remember one year
Then we turned
ships,
around
which is a frame,
had
ship on one side and ship on, and they're
guys owned
shooting
the one
at
restaurant
each
there.
other.
I don't know where
The
he
bridge
got it,
was
but he got a cable
spectacular. Fireworks on water has a great effect.
tie on one side of the river to the other side, and then we made out loops so we could stand up and feed it and have all the way across and have them all set up so that you could light them on one side and they'd go off on the other because we had to hand fire them. This electronics wasn't until I got burned. Hand firing gives you the most, because it's
The adrenaline
fun to
rush
watch
was a huge
digital.
factor.
You're back
Back
up
in the
and
hand fire day,
anymore.
that was the
You
ultimate.
get burned once.
Like I say, you
We
wore a
had
flannel shirt. It was 90 degrees. You
17,003.
still wore a flannel shirt
That's when
because you're going to get burned.
everybody got burned.
You maybe get 2 seasons out of a flannel shirt, but there was nothing like it.
Picked me up.
It is an adrenaline rush. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, that Hamburger Hill, we called it afterwards. I lit that sucker and all hell let loose. Started with 7 people on the show, ended up with 3. It it just it scared us all, I guess. I can hear my grandson, who was back on me about 10 feet. It picked me up and threw me right into him. He thought I broke his leg. I got a kick out of that because he was hollering I had broke his leg. Hell, I didn't break his leg. It put a hole right in my leg and just picked me up and threw me. And people don't realize that hole was, you could look, it was 1.5 inches. You could see right down into the bone. That happened because the company that he bought fireworks from, because these companies, and that was Melrose, and that was the only time that Mike Carolano ever was at a Bristol show. He's sitting up in the crowd and didn't even realize that it was us that got, how bad we got blowed up, because we never stopped the show. Everybody just went right on. I went to I didn't see the finish of that show because they took me over and had to have my leg fixed up. But everybody got some type of a burn because it smeared. I mean, when you hand fire, you're all, like I say, you got a guy that's going to load, you got a guy that's going to, there's a lot of people involved in hand firing, where electric, you set it up, you wire it in. It's safety is what it's all about.
Bristol didn't have a homecoming or fireworks in 2020, the year of COVID. That's the only one that we missed. There was only one rain delay in all those years too, but I can remember that, shooting on Sunday.
My ethics of work, most people don't realize you got to work. You can just about learn or do anything you want to do. I've just enjoyed life, that's all.